Hi, and welcome to New England L5R. This is our eighth podcast episode. As always, I'm Eric, and with me, as always, is Luis.
Hi, hello, I'm Luis.
And Brandon will be here at some undetermined time. We will find out in the near future.
It's true. That's going to happen. He has a family and he likes them probably. We don't, so we're here doing it live.
So I guess let's just run right into the first thing. The first thing we normally talk about is a review of the weekend's tournaments, but there was no tournament last weekend for the first time in a long time, so we'll just skip right over that.
Hey, there we go.
And preview upcoming tournaments. This Saturday, game night, Gardner, let's go.
Yeah, buddy, Gardner, Massachusetts, game nights. Gonna be a big
Super
fucking
excited.
tournament, hopefully. It's a sword tournament. These are becoming like a New England staple, which I hope they continue to be, because it's kind of neat.
I don't really care
a
about
pretty
the
solid
extra
turnout.
prize of this like silly like nerd sword, but like I like
Game
that it
nights
makes
is
a bunch
always
of
like
people
the
come.
most turn, dude. Like,
Yeah, I just
with
like that
no,
it makes a bunch of people show up.
yeah, exactly. Like, and with no, you know, not implying anything about any other store. I just always feel like game nights, just the turnout is fucking great, really, really strong. But also, it's my local
And-
store, so I'm biased.
Yeah, for sure. On Sunday, I'm hooking up with the young Tom Cadigan to get some real life playing in because he's going to be down at my local store for pre-PAX, which was the weekend after this, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to
is,
PAX. Tom's going to PAX.
man.
He's totally
Tom's
gonna
going to
hang-
PAX. That's fucking tight.
Yeah, he's gonna hang out with us, and we're gonna try and get him on an episode.
That's awesome. I'd love to. I've said this before, but he's like one of my favorite players to play against. He's just a cool
Yeah.
dude.
He's a cool dude, and apparently his girlfriend is from East Windsor, which is where my local store is, so he's there right now.
Damn. Shouts out to East Windsor and shouts out to Tom. He's got one of my Cloud
Yeah.
Mines, but I totally got another one, so I'll probably never get that one back.
A little. Let's just go behind the scenes right now. Do you have like new stuff pulled up and ready to go?
Keeping it real, I don't, but I can grab it real quick.
Yeah,
Don't you
we're
worry.
doing it live.
What kind of news? Well, we got some spoilers, right? Do we have any more news? Yeah, the community stuff. The community
We're
stuff.
kind of flying by the seat of our pants here. We kind of just like went into this without any thinking. So
That's totally okay. I got this stuff. And the magic of editing will make sure this doesn't show up later.
what's up, guys? How are you?
So
How are
boom,
things going today?
here's this. This was the first bit. We kind of didn't talk about this last week. I think this happened over the course of the last 9 days, so bear with us. But
Are we doing the unicorn thing?
yeah, let's, if that's cool,
So
let's cover the unicorn.
we record on like Tuesday nights, and
Yep.
this started on like the Wednesday right after, so we didn't.
Yeah.
cover it, so
Shouts out to us recording on the day before they always drop
yeah,
news.
well, yeah. I mean that's completely Brandon's fault, but like, man, we picked a terrible day to do
Oh
this.
yeah, it's the worst when it comes to pack reviews. But regardless, they're doing a community created card, and we voted for originally the clan it would belong to, and it ended up being Unicorn. There were a lot of people who were really caping for their own clan, which is fine, and there's a few people who were trying to just vote for what they thought would be cool. I think
a lot
Unicorn
less
got it
votes than I
mostly
thought there'd
from
be.
pity. Like for this specific poll or for the actual clan?
Just all told, I think like the unicorn won with like 200 votes.
Yeah, which is crazy because like I
I thought there'd be a lot more people.
yeah, I mean there seems to be a lot of responses for which family, but I guess whatever. But it's definitely it's interesting to see that there's generally not a ton of what's the word? The community's small and really tight knit. Like the community's insanely tight knit, which is part of what I really like about the game. But people, again, a lot of people voting for their own clan. I think Unicorn got it because everybody wants to see Unicorn do well. Like I don't think there's a single person who's like, man, I really don't want Unicorn to be good. Everybody really wants Unicorn to come together and like.
I mean, in an
actually-
ideal world, doesn't everybody want every faction to do well?
Yeah, of
Except
course.
Nobody wants Scorpion to be good, but whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
But I think people are overestimating the significance of an actual community created card. I hate to be too pessimistic, but I strongly feel that this card will very likely not be, for the
Well,
curve.
I mean,
it's supposed to be fun.
It's not like we get to like put the text on the card. We're just deciding like what color it is and
Right.
what family it's from. Like.
I just mean like I feel like typically community created stuff is just kind of for funsies. There's been
Of course.
exceptions to the rule, especially in old 5R where some of the stuff was busted. But
I prefer.
it's gonna be fun.
I prefer this way of doing things that Fantasy Flight does, where they're keeping all the control.
Yeah, no, I like
Because
it.
The community are not game designers, and they don't know how to design cards correctly.
They
Even
sure
though
don't.
you can say what you want about FFG's design and how they've had a lot of hiccups and missteps, but like,
We can't do it either.
yeah, like, that doesn't mean you do better.
Exactly.
So far we have Unicorn, Utaku Family will be the card, and then the theme of the card is like outside allies.
Yes, which I
So
believe
hopefully,
I
like
can
going
pull
along
up.
the monster theme, which is like pretty cool.
Here it is. I'll just pull this in right now. So this is the second one, and it will be the general theme of the Samurai's ability, out of clan allies, which I'm surprised it didn't win by more. I know it won by a good bit, but it's interesting to see that it was a fairly even spread. I mean, even Swarm, which is just obvious, right? Like they got a lot of votes.
Yeah.
First player being the least voted, which is I'm totally okay with. That's a very not enjoyable or interesting mechanic in my opinion, personally.
Right.
But the out of clan ally stuff just seems great. I mean, they could go anywhere.
I
with
get
it.
why people wanted the first player thing, because they're like, hey, let's make Way of the Unicorn a better card, but like, how about we just abandon that?
We could just abandon a bad concept.
Yeah.
That said, I will say for the billionth time, Way of the Unicorn is like just on the verge of playable. I don't hate it. It's a
Right, and
strong
they're
tempo
kind of saying if
sometimes.
there was some more stuff that synergized with
Right.
it, maybe it'd be better, but like,
It'd be really
it'd also
sketchy.
be better to just play good cards.
Yeah, like you don't want to introduce more variants to your deck that has no consistency, right?
Whatever, we're being like,
Yeah, we're
grognards.
being negative. That said,
Yeah.
I'm still looking forward to it. I really wish Crane had won the poll, but it is what it is. And shouts out to Unicorn
Over
for
like
getting
Crab or
something.
Lion.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would have
you wanted
rather
it-
had
you wanted it
Crane.
for
They had a really cool kind of community concept going for it, which I'm not going to go into detail, but it would have been pretty cool. That said, Unicorn deserves it as much as anybody, so I'm glad to see them getting something, and hopefully it's really, really cool. The out of clan ally stuff, just there's a whole world they can explore. Could just be more Jin. Could be
That would be
I
cool.
don't know, the Burning Sands. Are we gonna see them?
Yeah, I mean,
Are we gonna
I
see
love
the
Burning Sands
Heartless?
stuff.
What the hell are they?
Yeah.
I always forget their names, but
We
Yajin
do
Din was
this
one of
every
them.
time.
We do this every time, but it's like the coolest part
Yeah.
of the Burning Sands.
That's really all the news we have, huh? Oh my god.
Yeah, there's actually a
Slow
couple
2 weeks.
spoilers. There is a spoiler, 2 spoilers
Right,
actually that we haven't covered. If you want to.
Besides that, the only articles are back from World. So I mean, yeah, let's just go right into the spoilers.
Well, here we go. Here, I mean, there's a fair few spoilers, but this is the first one. This is Miyako's Undertaking. It's a 2 fate event. It's a Scorpion card. Play only if you have 6 or fewer honor. It's 1 influence. Action: during a conflict, choose a non-unique character in your opponent's Dynasty discard pile and a participating character you control. Until the end of the conflict, your character becomes a copy of the character in your opponent's discard pile. Should we say it in unison? Garbage.
Yeah. Just throw this.
Absolutely unplayable garbage. This will probably never be sleeved by anybody with.
This is like a lion card.
Oh yeah, it's
like
crazy.
47
Like
games
Scorpion's
on it.
not used to seeing this shit.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, there's
It
a lot of
says
gates
C
on
the
it.
bottom. All my C cards are supposed to be S tier. I don't get it.
Yeah, they're supposed to do stuff. This is.
I mean, this does something.
I mean, debatably, right?
It is not. It is not a 2 fate event that has a blank text box. It does do something.
It kind of does. I mean, I feel like that text box is blank, right? What if you don't have 6 or fewer honor? That's a good joke because you definitely do. But like, in
Yeah,
theory, let's
Would-
say
would you
it's
play
like
this with 0.
I would strongly consider it at 0. I don't know if I would
think I
play
would.
it, but I would strongly consider it because it at least has like potential at
I
0.
don't think I could fit this into a 40 card deck.
It's
even if
really
it's
hard
0.
to. I was actually laughing with Kyle the other day because the Scorpion deck I'm playing, and I'm not saying I'm playing it properly, but I was looking at my splash and I was like, it's kind of laughable. My splash is just 2 display of powers because I can't find room for anything. Like, and it's not correct to do so, but I'm saying the Scorpion Dynasty is unbelievably competitive. It is absurd how
mean
hard it is to make
conflict,
room. Or conflict, apologies.
Yeah. Okay.
It is absurdly difficult to make any room in that conflict. I mean, your cuttable card is like Fate Worse Than Death, or like you cut a Cloud the Mind, and that's such blasphemy in any other.
Every time I look at my list, I'm like, the like flex slots, even back before the Scorpion pack.
The flex slots are like SSS plus tier.
Yeah, even before the Scorpion pack, I had one flex slot that I was toying with, and now, I've added a bunch more playable cards, and my flex slots are like -4 cards.
Yeah, it's like I said, my splash is literally 2 display of powers because I'm just like I can't fucking make room for anything else. Like I can't play Dragon Splash, or I could, but I'm not making room for it. It's more fun to make people not have any fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the card. It's just so gated, and it has a cost. That's really it.
It has the cost is way too high.
Yeah, like on top of all the gating, the cost is just absurd. I mean, there's no way you do this feasibly.
For like 1 money, I can be playing stronger effects, or for 0 money, I can be playing stronger effects. There are things you can do with it, like people were talking about. What is it? It has to be a non-unique. So like the true power is like Spirit Caller, I guess.
I mean, I guess, but like, what are you going to spirit call from your dynasty? Yeah. I hope you're playing Shoju, or I guess like an Aramoro. Speaking of, that guy never feels good to buy.
We can talk about like Scorpion stuff later if you want.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Me and Adam have been talking a lot.
I think that about covers Miyako's Undertaking, though.
I don't even really want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not much more to go into. Like, we'll just kind of rant and rave and hate it, right?
I can't complain because, like, I play the clan I play, but...
It is what it is. They can't all be winners, right?
Yeah, every clan has unplayable cards for sure. I just...
Here's something...
They pop up in your clan, you don't want to see it.
Yeah. Here's something that at first I was a little lukewarm on, and I've since become quite excited. This is Shinjo Trailblazer. It's a dynasty card for Unicorn. It is a 2-Fate character, obviously. 2 military, 1 political skill, 1 glory, Bushi and cavalry keywords. Reaction: after an opponent's province is revealed during a conflict, this character gets +2 military and +2 political until the end of the conflict. This card is
cool.
It's not cool. It's not flashy, but it's
not
fucking
interesting.
Good. It is a role
player.
player.
Gas. Like, it's just gas.
Like, this does everything Unicorn wants it to do. The fact that it pumps pull is something that cannot be understated. Like, having a pull stat in Unicorn is already fucking sick because they don't have pull stat, but like, just being able to pump your pull in any way is really nice.
This guy actually lets you attack politically in the Crane matchup because if you flip the province, he's a 3.
Yep, he doesn't immediately get bowed.
Yeah,
what else is there to say?
Like dishonor it, and you can captive audience, you know.
So, I feel cool like as much as I adore Shinjo boring. Scout, I feel like this ends up being a better 2-drop. It's just too good to ignore.
Considering that I play Unicorn like for fun, I'm probably not going to cut Shinjo Scout for a while because I'm just like I love that card so much. But like I can admit that it's probably wrong.
This does just seem to slot well into the Unicorn builds that are floating around because it's just another good 2 or 1-drop cavalry, which they just want more of generally.
The 2 is like such a sweet spot for cav reserving too. Like
yeah, it really really is. I think this card at first I wasn't sure about it, and now it just to me it seems like
it's just gas.
Yeah, it just seems like an instant.
The reaction like
to go for.
It's just like there
worth
be a lot
noting.
Of times where it's not gonna.
It works on Border Fortress. Not that it really matters because like then you'd be defending Border Fortress
like cute.
with this, but it's cute.
Well, no, I mean if they flip Border Fortress earlier, you can.
Also, mildly worth noting, kinda, is like Chasing the Sun.
Yep.
You could Chasing
Ollie
the Sun.
Verbal also says in chat that it's not a forced reaction, so you don't have to do it, which is it's notable.
Yep.
On things that you don't want to break.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's no the Unicorn 2-drop from Children of the Emperor that was spoiled. Like that guy.
That guy does seem like a monster. I mean, Unicorn, it's so nice to see them just getting good shit. I'm really excited to see more of the clan pack if they're actually looking to up the power level of the clan.
But, like, it's cool and all, but, like, I feel like everybody's like, oh wow, purple cards, but what about like yellow and dark blue cards?
As much as I would love to see more dark blue cards because they don't seem to want to print any of them, we're in a decent enough spot now that Fight On is there. Fight On is such a game changer, it's unreal.
I mean, that's
but
cool
we'll
and all.
yeah.
But like,
We could still use some cards being
been a
printed
while.
that we could play.
yeah, like
Like
I would just
outside
like
of
to
meme
see
shit.
the crab deck change.
And Lion, it's gross. I feel like they've let Lion fester for so long. And I
Crab's basically
genuinely feel
playing
bad for them.
the same deck as 3-core, like plus Fight On.
Damn, you see my typo Utui. So here's a few more, by the way. Yeah, Crab is... We don't change. Whatever. Here's some more cards, though.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about it. It's been so long since we've recorded.
Yeah, these are
Even
small.
though it's only been like 2 extra days.
So the images are also French, but I have the translations.
Yeah,
so we'll start off with what's a really, in my opinion, scary but risk-involved Lion card. It is called the Fires of Justice. It is a Lion Clan event. It is 2 fate and 2 influence. It is void roll only. Reaction after you win we don't know what type of conflict, but presumably military. Your opponent chooses a participating character he or she controls. Select one. Remove all fate from that character, or move any amount of fate from your opponent's fate pool onto that character. This is fucking horrifying. This card is horrifying. Holy shit.
I'm like nervous about it because it's one of those designs that's either going to be so brutally oppressive or it's just going to sit in a binder. Like I don't really know. I think I'm actually.
I lean towards
the first
oppressive.
one. Yeah.
I lean towards this being utterly not fun to play against, but like it's a power card, so
I can see a Lion player saying like I can't like find space for it because I need all my slots to win conflicts.
I can also see a Lion player saying I spend 2 fate to move 7 fate from the Crab's pool onto their Caillou Envoy and then win the game immediately.
Right, like there are lots of crazy things you can do with it, and it also it takes all the fate off. Is that what it does?
You could either remove all fate from the character or move any amount of fate from their fate pool onto it, which like you really get the best choice. No, you just remove the fate.
Okay, I'm gonna add Brandon to the call. He is here, so it might fuck it up.
That's fine. Hello. So yeah, Brandon, we're talking about the Fires of Justice. You know what that card is? I can read it again for you if not. All right, good talk. Anyways,
we're gonna move on without Brandon because he's probably having some sort of mic issue. We can't hear you.
That's fine.
So,
regardless, this card it terrifies me, but I'm also happy to see Lion get something that is potentially worth being terrified of. It's just a design that I'm not sure.
It is like an answer to Towers too, which is nice. Like it'll help the Dragon matchup.
Oh, for sure, and I mean it'll help the Crab matchup. Not that they needed help in that matchup at all, but no big deal. I just like to complain. The next card is Aspirant Challenger.
Before we move on, is it splashable?
Yeah, it's 2 influence.
Yeah, I mean, this could be like a cool Phoenix card with Embrace the Void.
Damn, we could talk about Scorpion getting Seeker of Void back, and then the mythical Lion Splash back in action.
All right, moving on.
The next card is Aspirant Challenger. It is a 2 fate, 2 military, 2 political character. It is neutral.
We don't know the glory.
Yeah, we do not know the glory, and we do not know whether it's a dynasty or conflict. It is a Bushi, a duelist, and a Mantis clan. It has composure. This character gets +2. Who knows? We're really just flying by the seat of our pants here. And the action is during a conflict, initiate a duel, likely military, resolve the duel, honor the winner. Now, that's just how they word duels now.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a military duel.
Yeah, it could be political. I mean, this guy's a 2/2.
2/2. Yeah. I mean, this is just an absolute Crane card that's for some reason not light blue. It's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, look at the pink flowers in the background of him, too. I see this possibly seeing play in the future if Crane do get a duelist box in the Crane pack. I don't see it being useful now, although I could be wrong. But to me, it's just a 2 fate 2/2 with like a meh effect. Nothing particularly interesting, although with Composure coming out soon in Children of the Empire, it's kind of hard to discount the potential for dial manipulation mattering.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to see play, but...
Yeah, it's one card that I'm not going to fully denounce, but I definitely think it could, it could just end up being...
Could be a pretty good pick in Limited once I get that L5R cube made up.
Good old L5R cubes.
I'm almost there.
Soon. Any thoughts on
I
the
am
Challenger?
I am all about L5R cubes. I can say that for sure.
Hell yeah.
Are you all about the aspirant Challenger, Brandon?
No.
That's understandable.
Introduction, as always, with me is Brandon.
Oh hi. How's everybody
Hey,
doing?
I'm gonna like Frankenstein splice that later.
On to the thing that really matters, Yakamo.
I mean, let's not go so far as to say matters, but yes. Hida Yakumo, he is a dynasty
complain
character for Crab. Absolutely. He is a 4 fate, 4-2, 4 military, 2 political, 1 glory, Bushi, Berserker, and Duelist. If you are less honorable than an opponent, this character does not bow as a result of military conflict resolution and can't lose duels. So he cannot be the loser of the duel, but your opponent can still win them, which is important to note. So,
Right.
for example, Game of Sadane, if for some ungodly
You
reason
don't
that card is
suffer the
played on
losing
you,
condition.
yeah, you don't become dishonored, but your opponent will be honored. I mean, he's a berserker, which is the big takeaway for me from this. That's the only thing that gives him any redeemable qualities in my eyes.
It's playable.
He is mildly competitive with an unplayable 3-drop on the stat line, so I would probably
I
not.
don't know.
Like, I wouldn't consider him playable in the tower build, but I would be welcome to be wrong. I don't think he's like... He's not garbage, I just don't see him seeing play in the current build. He doesn't
What
push
if you
anybody
start
out.
to move towards that Berserker theme more? Like if a few good
Oh, for
good
sure.
Berserker themed cards
The
come
fact
out,
that he's a
right?
berserker is crucial.
Right.
He fits in like really well in highly aggressive crab builds that run things like spreading the darkness, that just don't really care about their honor, or at the very least can ride
boy-
the razor's edge a bit.
This boy and Crisis Breaker are best friends, right?
Yeah.
Crisis Breaker can make him fight on.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
again, like
he'll
he doesn't
never
bow.
bow.
Like him not bowing as a result of military is huge. I mean, unbow effects and not bowing are massive in this game. The mountain does not fall can get fucked over by half the clans in the game, and it's still like a really good card.
Right.
So
I don't know, I
Yakumo,
think-
like, he's not bad. It's just I don't see him working in the current builds. And the big takeaway
Yeah,
for me
he's-
is the Berserker keyword.
He's not powerful on his own. It's going to take some pieces working with him.
I really, maybe I'm asking for too much, but I really would have liked to see such a crucial character for my clan be pushed.
Yeah.
Like, there's
It's a
no
little
reason
disappointing.
that he couldn't have been stat pushed. There's zero reason that he couldn't have been a 5-3.
Yeah.
There's zero reason
I
that
don't
they
know
couldn't
about
have
the
made...
3, but I definitely 5 military.
Or like 5-2. I mean, there's no reason
Yeah.
he shouldn't have been like a similar stat line to Aramoro, right? Like,
Sure. I mean, well, we wouldn't
even
wanna
just
give him the 2
keeping
glory,
with...
though, right?
Yeah, no, not the 2 glory. But I just mean in general. I feel like there's not a reason
He
they
should be
couldn't
like a
have
5-2-0.
made these like
honestly.
yeah, like these important characters that could have been like a theme, you know, they're push stats and they're good cards.
Yakamo having glory is kind of dumb. Like he's definitely not like an honorable.
Yeah,
dude.
he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Speaking of,
he's a bad boy.
there's Hitomi right there. I talked about this.
Well, I mean, we
if
don't know what
Yakumo is
she
coming,
does.
Hitomi's coming. Yeah. I mean, she's got very likely matching stats, but we don't know anything about her.
She's a 4 fate 4-2.
Yep,
with
that's
an
all we
action.
know. She's a Bushi and a duelist.
Bushi duelist, and she has an action on her card, but we don't know what it does.
Yep, that's all we know. It's just
So,
notable
hype, right?
for lore people. Of course, if Yakumo was around, Hitomi was going to be around.
Yeah.
Brandon, what do you feel about Yakumo? How do you feel about the card? I know you play some Crab too on occasion.
No, he doesn't.
I know.
No, I do. So, yeah, I mean, more better characters. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, you are the best crab player in New England with a 0-1 record.
Whoa.
Still have a playmat I have to give you.
I think that Drew and I are planning to come down.
Oh yeah, bud.
For the next thing that's happening at a
That's
time.
on Saturday.
No, there was a Sunday one. I thought there was a Sunday one.
I don't think so.
Game,
but...
game nights is on Saturday, right?
Actually, I think it is Sunday.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure it's Sunday.
Yeah, I think this one's Sunday. I forget
Oh, shit.
exactly why, but there was a reasoning for it.
I told Tom that I'd be able to play with him on Sunday. Oops.
Oh man, you really fucked him over.
Yeah, I sure did.
Do we have anything else to cover news-wise, or can we just get to shooting the shit?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think we've
Trying
covered
to find the
spoilers.
game nights thing now, so you guys gotta carry this for me
That's
for a
fine.
second.
I'm just I'll think out loud a little bit. I'm sure
It's
everybody
so hard
really
to
wants
find
do that.
events.
Gotta
Why do
use
they make it so
Facebook, brother.
hard? What do you think I am?
I don't know, dude. I don't use Facebook. Speaking of, PAX is in like a week, dude. I'm fucking hype, kinda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. When are you guys driving down?
Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
I think we're leaving Thursday during the day.
I'm gonna hitch a ride with Kyle on Thursday, and then get to your place, and then
Huh?
we'll just fucking.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yep.
Fuck,
We'll
it
figure
is
it out.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday, dude. Sunday, my dudes.
I think it's because they have a PPTQ on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Um,
is. We gotta play second fiddle because Magic has, it's Magic.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's okay. Game sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yep.
You can't fault a little tangent. You can't fault any. Game
No, I'm
store
not
for,
faulting the
catering
store.
to
I'm not
Magic.
faulting the store at all.
Yeah, because it's
I'm
just
not.
how game stores have to be. You
Yeah.
have to
No,
suck
I'm
their
absolutely
dick.
not faulting GK. Not even a little bit. I understand.
Little inside baseball there. Basically, if you don't gargle Wizards of the Coast balls, they will screw you. So
It be that way sometimes.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, chasing the sun is totally what I meant, person who corrected me. I was speaking on the unicorn card earlier, but I probably used the wrong name. Anyways,
What are you talking about?
nothing.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, onto like the main topic of discussion, right? Question mark?
What's that? You tell me.
I mean, is our main topic of discussion, I mean, our hopes and dreams for the future of this game.
Oh,
Or, real
Yeah,
real
I
quick,
mean-
quick shout out to my boy Gabe. Gabe turned up at an event a couple weeks ago, and it was sick.
yeah,
That's
we
all.
already have like moved through most of our
I'm just giving him a shout out anyways.
segments. Yeah, Gabe is our honorary player of the month.
Yep.
It's
Beast
a new
boy.
little segment. Your prize is like nothing.
Your
maybe I
prize
should,
is us like having some respect for you, I guess. I mean, not
Should
that
I,
we
like-
don't respect everybody.
Should we like find a prize for player of the month?
Probably not.
Once we start getting money for this podcast, if we ever do, then I'll make a player of the month.
I'm
Until
down
then,
to
you just
put
get a
money
shout out.
into it after PAX. I just don't want to do shit before PAX.
Yeah.
I've had to
totally,
like scramble and make hundreds of dollars in like 3 days.
Well, you shouldn't have waited until 3 days.
Yeah, I know, dude. I still haven't signed up for the tournament.
You should do that.
I know.
I mean, I haven't signed up for the tournament either, but
I'm going to.
Aren't you judging?
I thought so, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet. I'm
Oh,
starting
well.
to get worried.
Oh man,
fucking
FFG
stretch
is some shit.
It's not FFG, it's Cascade.
Oh, Cascade. All right, we'll get fucked.
Yeah, I think I'll be fine.
The
But like,
podcast does not
maybe I'm
share
not.
any of Luis's.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I
just
like
the personality here. They
They've
they
done a
like
good job at
stuff.
I've done so far. So
I'm the voice
Well
of
done.
negativity that nobody likes. Don't you worry about me.
Is that sarcasm, or do you actually, Brandon?
me, yeah, no, I've never had any problems with anything that they've
Okay.
done so far. For L5R for sure. They've
I just
made...
assume everything someone says is sarcasm.
There you
No,
go.
I'm not being sarcastic at all. At all.
Oh
See,
man,
that's
now I feel like
sarcastic.
he's definitely being sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic.
Man,
No,
Brandon,
I'm
you're
not.
you're a
I'm
you're a
really
card,
not.
dude.
One
Absolute
day,
card.
but only if I win enough tournaments.
Yeah, so we've blazed through most of our topics of discussion, really. So like now we're kind of into our doing what we do
Let-
best, which is just like rambling.
Let's talk. Let's go back to talking about Scorpion real quick. Not in a ranty way
Sure.
either. Like I mentioned in passing.
I can talk
Um,
about Scorpion a lot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw a ball at you, and it's not gonna be a curveball. It's a pretty nice and easy one. I was playing Scorpion because playing Crab in casuals makes me want to kill myself, and
Yeah,
I
and
played a
Scorpion's
few
super
games.
fun.
It's really fun. It's so relaxing and so brain dead. But I was playing against Kyle, and we played a fair few games, and I noticed something, and understandably, like it's probably because it's the Dragon matchup, and it might feel better other places. But every single time I bought Aramoro, it was only because I had to, and it never felt good. It actually felt
Yep.
supremely terrible every time.
He's been cut.
And the thing is, like, I understand that he gets value by forcing your opponent to respect him, but at the same time, I just don't care. He just
Now,
doesn't feel good.
He gets value because he's a big block of stats weighted in the military part.
Yeah,
That's the only value he brings. Like
right.
it's come to my attention a long time ago that like firing his ability just is it's never going to happen.
Yeah, nobody's gonna allow you to do that. And
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, it's because you're making your deck suboptimal by doing shit like Fiery Madness and like 5 Sinister
So-
Trophies.
Really, I'm just like paying 7 mana for like a 5 mil guy, basically.
Yeah, and he did some
Sorry,
work for me,
Fate.
but I never resolved his ability, and
Yeah, I've resolved
know?
his ability, I think, maybe 3 times over like 20 games. So
So there, I mean,
Or was it just to say
I
you
think the
did?
thing
Huh?
that's most important is that he threatens it, right? So like,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna ever let you, but it does mean that they're gonna choose to block potentially
They will-
suboptimally.
yeah,
Because they
it does
don't wanna
force
have-
yeah,
questions.
they have
He
to
also-
respect it.
Yeah, he also just ejects Guest of Honor from the game. So like, you're guaranteed if he's in a conflict to be able to use.
Only if it's mill,
Yeah, well, you're gonna attack with him military. You're not gonna
of
attack
course.
politically. And if
I'm
they're
going
dumb enough to
political.
come in with a Guest of Honor military, then you just
Yeah.
If
and
only Hawk
that
Tattoo were
sounds-
around, now that would be gross.
Like that sounds awesome on paper,
Nobody's gonna do that.
but like it never happens. And
yeah, nobody's ever gonna do that.
It
for
is
sure.
though, like he said. It's almost like the threat of WotC. Like WotC is about the threat, you know. It's the same
yeah,
thing.
but that costs
Armor is
1
about
money
the
and
threat.
is in your conflict's hand.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm just saying though. I don't see myself cutting Armoro because I don't really feel like there's any better options. I mean, I guess there probably is.
Or novice.
I feel like having that many like just felt bad to me. I never like wanted for a courtier. I've wanted for a Shugenja many times lately, but
You can cut Armoro for court novice. You can cut
probably
for
Miyako or my third Zokujins.
Miyako. I've cut Zokujin as well.
Yeah, Zokujin
And-
didn't feel amazing. I mean, honestly, it just doesn't feel good to buy anything from Scorpion Dynasty ever.
You can cut it for Shishiro Actress. You can cut it for Shadow Shaper. Like
I mean,
those are 4 cards I'd play over Armoro.
I wouldn't play Shadow Shaper over Armoro, but I could see the
It's
logic.
Shugenja.
Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know. I thought it was interesting that a card that is so clearly pushed, or at least
Yeah,
on face value, he seems incredibly pushed.
and that's
but like,
that's
it's
not to say that it's not a good card. It just doesn't see play in this this style of deck.
yeah, and like
Stats
I'm not
are secondary.
exactly. Like
in
you
this
need
deck.
tricks, and he doesn't do anything except make me not be able to play my Fate Worse Than Death as much as I want. Like playing against Dragon, you know, in the few games I played, mostly I just wanted to have 20 money at all times. I didn't really want to buy
Yeah.
anybody ever, you know. Like there were times where I had to consider if I even wanted to buy a Bayushi Liar because I just didn't care.
Mhm.
You know, because
Yeah,
so
you're
much of your
mostly
ability
buying
to stay
things-
afloat in the Dragon matchup seems tied to your conflict hand, and your stuff buying is just like I don't even want to poke with it because I'm gonna lose.
You're mostly buying things to like cover your bases in terms of like keywords. Like you're buying
Yeah.
things just for the keyword, and like they can get money off rings for you.
Speaking of, can we talk about how the Dragon matchup actually feels considerably worse now? Because Pilgrimage is
Worse.
fucking disgusting to hit.
Sure, yeah.
Like I never
I mean,
worried about
'cause-
Feast or Famine, but
yeah,
hitting
Feast or Famine
Pilgrimage
doesn't matter
feels
to
bad.
Scorpion player. Yeah,
Like when my reveals
can see
are
that.
accidentally break up holding, accidentally hit resto, or poke Pilgrimage all game to try to get favor sometimes. Like it was a bad feeling. Although you can
see
make the
that.
most of it if you reveal Pilgrimage, but it's definitely I almost feel like you just don't even attack them now. Kind of the same as before. Just don't even bother. The off chance you hit resto and immediately lose is just not worth it.
I mean, you just have to bid 5. You have to play 2 guys turn 1 that can attack, and bid
Yeah,
5
you just
and
reveal
get it
2
done.
and pray.
Yeah.
You know? And go second so you could try to throw shit at their first turn. Or at least, you know.
You basically
pray,
just
you know?
want to find their upholding and farm it for the whole game.
Yeah. And then pray they don't like bonsai you on a military.
Right. Well, you just have to have you just have to be ready to assassinate your own guys, which I've done too many times.
I mean, it
Yep.
practically feels good for Scorpion. Like,
Yeah, I would rather do that than discard 3 fucking calling in favors or something.
yeah,
Hey,
I
as
broke
lo-
up holding
as
one
long as
game
they're
and
doing their
lost.
duty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, just assassinating your own dude is sometimes just like a move. Just like, okay, well, I'm going to hit you now because I'm going to box you.
I
Against
fate
Lauren,
worse than death my own goblin sneak once to not have that.
against Lauren, did you see what happened to the last game nights tournament,
I
Luis?
did not.
On turn 2, I attacked and flipped a Feast or Famine, and I had played a Aramoro with like 4 money on him, and I poked with a 1/1 and flipped Feast or Famine, so she unleashed the Jin on it, and I had to forged edict the unleash the Jin on my own guy, and then she like put a fan on it, and I had to assassinate it.
That's actually sick. It's such a bad feeling. I fucking hate Feast or Famine, but shouts out to Unicorn for having something. Or they did.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, sooner than later they'll finally release that update to the restricted list.
Well, hey, I mean that unicorn spoiler.
That's something we can fucking talk about.
They should have released that way before PAX, and I just want to go on the record as saying I understand that Reprieve is a broken card in regards to it being splashable, but please God, do not put Reprieve on the restricted list.
How do I put this? Like, I don't want to like just get on my little soapbox, no matter how small our soapbox actually is, and like yell at people, but like, can you release the fucking list?
Yeah, it's. I don't want to say I'm super frustrated, but I am mildly frustrated that we're going into the first Grand Cote of the season. It's important.
These rules were picked with that in mind.
Yeah, they were literally like, yeah, Feast or Famine is absolutely not going to be off the restricted. It is going to be restricted, and that's it. Don't pick a fire roll based on that. And people were like, okay. And like, now Crane, and granted, I think Seeker of Fire Crane is maybe not even as good as Seeker of Air Crane, but it's still fucking annoying.
It's a lot better now that they get to play a restricted card and Feast or Famine for this event.
Right, that's what I mean. And even though Crane barely gives a fuck about their restricted card, it still means they have the option. They could run Miyamoto's Fury. Like, they could just run Miyamoto's Fury and Feast or Famine. Because you don't want to reveal shit.
Cards.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Or if you don't want to run Fury, you can play Policy Debate still.
Policy Debate.
Edict. Yep.
But, I mean, it's nothing against Crane either. It's just annoying that FFG would say, like, hey, we're going to restrict this for sure, and then they haven't yet. Because, like, at least they could be like, hey, this card's restricted for now, we're going to release more later, you know? There's no reason not to.
Yeah, there's nothing that would have stopped them from just adding it to the list, which makes me think that they're going to kind of revamp it and change a bunch of stuff, and
that horrifies
whether
me.
they are or not is still some bullshit. I just don't understand why this hasn't happened.
You know,
that announcement to me, the way they did it, saying like, "Hey, before we even do the picks at Worlds,"
I thought it was going to be literally active instantly.
Right. That literally says to me, the list is already ready. We're just waiting until after Worlds. So for it to be, multiple weeks after Worlds and we still haven't seen it, it's super frustrating because I have to go to this Cote that I like paid money for, and
play a dead meta.
Yeah.
But also like it's supposed to be the highest level of competitive event, and
right.
Go fuck yourself.
Especially because this is like the first event of this next season, and it's a grand Cote. It's like really cool, but like it's just annoying.
I'm gonna have to play. And hey, listen, Unicorn, I love you. I'm not mad at you, but I'm gonna have to play against unicorns that still run Feast or Famine and Charge, and that just doesn't feel good. That said, going on what Brandon said about restricted lists.
Did anybody pick Keeper of Fire?
No. Do not believe so.
Yeah, so a clan could have picked Keeper of Fire.
Yeah, if they hated themselves.
And they chose not to. Well,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, at least Seeker of Fire makes sense. Seeker of Fire is going to be a very clan-specific thing now. So, like, Dragon in the future...
What I'm saying is, like, if people had known that what they said wasn't true, and that they weren't going to restrict Feast or Famine immediately, somebody could have picked Keeper of Fire.
I don't think they would have for one Cote, but I do get your point.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been worth it for just this Cote. I mean...
But you have no idea when their list is going to come out.
It's early December.
Well, while we don't...
Is what I've heard. Their emails from Tyler basically saying it's like December.
Whatever.
Yeah, I would be fucking astounded if it's not out by, like... If it's not out by the end of the year,
I'm astounded right now, so...
I'm astounded right now, for sure.
Personally.
But, like, I don't know. The level of dysfunction that exists within the hierarchy of when stuff comes out and what the major decisions are, and this is an event, here are the rules, it's not surprising.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep tonight. It's just annoying.
It just doesn't feel good. It just feels bad.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely agree. It does not feel good. But it's the world we live in.
Let's again kind of bouncing back and forth here, but let's go into another thing Brandon said. Shout out to Brandon on point today, saying stuff we could talk about. Possible sweeping changes to the restricted list, or just changes in general. Do we feel there are any cards that could come off the restricted list, and do we feel there's any cards that we're terrified to come off the restricted list?
Let me. I
Personally,
need to pull it up.
I do think
Yeah.
PFB could come off restricted list if they hit Dragon somewhere else, which they almost assuredly will. It's kind
Yeah.
of incredible that like there's. If I had to guess, it'd be Void Fist, but Void Fist is kind of the obvious choice. Like I could see Kitsuki Investigator.
Yeah.
I could see Mitsu. Like there's more than a couple cards that they could feasibly restrict. Even honestly, even Tattooed Wanderer is like a card that I could imagine hitting restricted lists.
I mean,
There's a lot of things on the restricted list that I sometimes don't really get. Like Iron Mine shouldn't be there at all.
It just stops Crab from running charge with saves, which I definitely understand. The thing is, like, they can't fully commit to brutalizing Crab and restricting all of our saves, but I think they definitely have realized that
I like the
they
Iron
designed
Mine
us into a
reprieve switch.
pigeonhole. I really don't, just because Iron Mine is way less consistent than Reprieve to the point of absurdity. That's my big thing is, like, Reprieve is a conflict card. I've had Satoshi's mill me 20
Right, but-
cards and I haven't seen an Iron Mine in a game. Like, it's
But Iron
really
Mine
brutal.
Reprieve being switched, you could still play both.
Right.
And it hurts Dragon.
How so? Oh, right. Yeah,
Play Reprieve.
yeah. Honestly, this goes into another thing I was gonna say, but I really wish they would not be afraid to errata cards or like do a revised core or something. But we'll get into that in a little bit.
That probably wouldn't happen for a while.
It probably
Like,
wouldn't happen for a while, but Reprieve needed to be printed with fucking 4 influence costs. Like,
And they have errated cards. It just has to be brutal. Like
yeah, it has to be killing the game like Hawk Tattoo, as opposed to like just really good.
Policy Debate can never come off.
Yeah, Policy Debate would be a card that is ubiquitous and not fun to play against.
It can
so
never
that's-
come off the restricted list just because it's gray.
Yeah. I don't think Miyamoto's Fury should ever come off. I don't think.
Yeah.
And I know this is like
We just made turn 1 so boring.
we've talked about this at length too,
And
but
Scorpion would go to S tier again.
I strongly feel, and Lion, please don't crucify me. It's nothing against you guys, but I strongly feel FGG should never be taken off the restricted list. That card is horrifying. It's so good. Like it's
Yeah.
so
It's just
fucking good.
because of the combination of For Greater Glory and Charge.
Right,
Yeah,
but
I
like
mean,
we just
I
know
feel like- well,
how
for
good
Greater
money
Glory,
is
Uchiaki
now.
is, I think,
Like when they restricted
Yeah,
for
for
Greater Glory,
that-
people just didn't even understand money as well as they do now, and now it's like, oh
Right.
man, like it's a totally different world.
That combination of cards, like For Greater Glory and Ujiaki, you also require the Favor, and it requires a 5-cost guy out of your Dynasty side, where there's no real way to tutor Dynasty cards, and you don't get to draw 5 of them, so like, that is much less of a brutal thing, and you should be rewarded for getting that combination of cards. But like, Charge For Greater Glory is very easy to put together, and it costs 2 money, and you know.
Yeah, it costs 2
Yeah.
money and you gain 15 quadrillion money and a champion.
If For
play.
Greater Glory had text printed on it that said you can't play Charge in the same deck, then I'd be fine taking it off.
Yeah, like for Greater Glory is a card that is, I won't call it unassuming, but it doesn't seem as crazy as it is until you kind of look at all the ways it can interact. Not just because of Charge for Greater Glory, but like I just think for one fate it's just too good in general. And I know that there's like a serious gate to playing it, but like Bushi's a common
would-
keyword, even though Bushi doesn't do anything right now. Like for Greater Glory's really good.
Well, it
Yeah.
would if you printed For Greater Glory.
Yeah, like that card's
and
broken for sure.
we're absolutely at the point where Lion can run every single card in their deck as Bushi. Like
Yeah, oh,
that's
for
not
sure.
even hard. So effectively, all of their characters gain an extra fate, plus the being able to win. Just I'm afraid for that card coming off the list for sure, just because of how belligerent it could be. And I think that they know that by their decision to put it on early when Lion wasn't really
Yep.
really doing a lot.
Yeah, like when they kind of just went out of their way to punch Lion in the face. It
You
wasn't
guys-
necessary, but they knew.
What do you guys feel about Against the Waves?
Never, please never take that off restricted list. That card is
So-
fucking bad news bears to the bone.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that Against the Waves, I mean, maybe if Against the Waves weren't a spell, but I think the fact that not only can you, untap the best, your ridiculous powerhouse unit, 3 times a turn with it, no.
It just makes having the Shugenja keyword on anything that costs more than 2 fucking miserable. Like,
Sure.
it's just
and it
not
makes playing
okay.
your Shugenjas suck.
Yeah. It just, like, it's a card that is in my opinion, it's a bow effect for one fate that targets an entire class of card, and to me that's
Yeah,
too much.
I don't understand why you can bow things with it. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes some
To
sense to
me.
me, but I don't think they realized how good that was. It could
Well-
literally say unbow one of your Shugenja, and it would be
there are
incredible
some-
still.
It would
Core
make
cards.
it would make more sense if it said unbow one of your Shugenja or bow one of your opponent's non-Shugenja, but that would be busted as hell.
Like,
Yes.
even if it just unbowed your Shugenja, I feel like it would still be possibly worth restricting. That's how good it is.
You can see like all the core cards on the restricted list. You can just see that they didn't understand the power level of the cards they were printing,
Right.
because like the core set
They've gotten
in-
better.
The core set restricted cards are Miyamoto's Fury, Forge Edict, Charge for Greater Glory, Against the Waves.
Mhm.
Like these are all cards that are so
Reprieve.
brutally. Reprieve is not on the restricted list.
Oh yeah, not Reprieve, not Reprieve. No, Iron Mind's Imperial. Never mind.
Yeah.
Ignore
so,
me.
like, you can see,
I meant
like,
Iron
these
Mind.
cards are just like so brutally strong and like way too undercosted for their effect.
Absolutely. I mean, I think.
But I don't think they even realized that until much later.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think looking at the list, like, for me, the only card that I feel is a
think
proper
Pathfinder's Blade
contender
should
to come
off.
off. Yeah, and I say this as a whiny Crab player, but it's just unfortunate that Crab got punished for the
I want
sins
to
of
play
another
that card
clan.
too.
Yeah,
I
and
want to play it.
it has like real potential as like a good card that is not oppressive. It only got restricted because Dragon was oppressing people with it.
With Maiden Master.
Yeah, and if they properly update the restricted list, and I actually do believe they're going to take PFB off restricted list, but they have to hit other Dragon cards.
They've got
I
to
could
smash Dragon.
I could see them hitting multiple Dragon cards, but I don't think it would be necessary. I honestly think hitting one power card might be enough.
And it sucks
depending.
that like it's the crab cards are the ones that I'm saying that need to be hit the most, because like
Yeah, it's
you gotta
it's
put,
fair
I think
though.
you should put Reprieve on.
Like, I wish, as shitty as it is, like I don't like saying this as a Crab player, but the fact of the matter is, and I've said it before, cards like Reprieve and Iron Mine, and even to some extent Vanguard Warrior, have designed us into a corner. Cards like WotC, like, they've designed us into a corner in that these saves are so ultra brutally powerful that they define the clan, but they're also really toxic. Like, these cards shouldn't exist.
They don't-
Reprieve
yeah, it
shouldn't
never
be
feels
one
fun.
influence, and it shouldn't exist anyways.
It never feels fun when you're playing as a crab player and any one of their saves go off ever.
Like, imagine if Crab's save was like an event that was tied to like their Berserker theme. You know, like the guy gets so mad he stays alive for a turn. It makes more sense. It's generally more interactable. Like, it just sucks that it's an embarrassment of riches. We were painted into a corner, and that corner's a really fucking comfy corner, but in my
What do you
opinion,
guys,
these cards are not okay.
What do you guys feel about people saying there needs to be more Scorpion cards on the restricted list?
That's a fucking great topic. I just had a conversation with Kyle about this yesterday, and I was saying
Because I think people who are saying a
They're
Fate Rose of
crazy.
Death needs to go on
They're
the list,
fucking
is
insane.
They're high on the
It's-
most premium of the butt hash.
it's funny because I was looking through the Scorpion deck, and even the cards I don't run, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't, being unfair, because like I understand I'm running a 2-card splash, and I thought about it, and I feel like if you're capable of any level of critical thinking at all, you realize that there's nothing worth restricting in Scorpion besides banning Duty, and that's
Yeah.
the problem
Duty
with the
should
clan.
be banned. I will agree with that. As a Scorpion
But-
player, that card should not exist.
But here's the problem with that,
They're
and it's
never going to do that, though.
here's me beating a dead horse, but it's just to make the point again. Like, the problem with Scorpion is not that their cards are inherently more powerful. It's not even that their cards are inherently very synergistic, because they have the best synergy of any clan for sure. The problem, almost purely in my opinion, lies in their stronghold. Their stronghold is so game-definingly broken that it is the reason Scorpion is absurdly overpowered.
I agree that it's easily the best stronghold, but I think the reason why Scorpion's so powerful is because the themes and playstyle that they were given is the most perfectly placed to abuse
Right.
the rule set of the game.
I definitely
where
agree
I
with
think the
that
power
too.
comes from.
I just feel like their stronghold is such a major contender. Because if you look at like their
Yeah.
deck and their cards, The only thing I could think of to do is like they just have to fix City the Open Hand one day because there's nothing worth restricting here.
We always get to pass first. We always get to like play the best. Like
You
one
have the most
drops,
consistent
like,
shit because Conflict Deck is just better than
Yeah.
Dynasty, like
We
which
have
they
the
didn't
most
understand in
yeah.
core.
We have the most consistent game plan because all of our power is couched in the thing that everybody slams 5 every turn. So like, we're just perfectly positioned to abuse the rule set to its like maximum, and I think that's why Scorpion is so strong, and they would be strong even without City of the Open Hand. That just pushes them over a cliff.
I mean, if you played Kyuden Bayushi and just played the same Scorpion game plan, would that be good enough? Probably not. And I know Kyuden Bayushi is for a specific
it'd be
game
blank.
plan. But like
Are you saying if I had a blank Stronghold, would my deck still be as good?
obviously not. But what I'm saying is like I don't think obviously Scorpion would take a hit if their Stronghold was worse. That's just a fact. But
But
I
if you
feel like
banned
if they
City
had
of
a
the Open Hand and I had to
Stronghold
play,
in
if I had
like
to play Kyuden Bayushi,
no, like I don't know how to articulate it. I guess if their Stronghold was more in line with other Strongholds as opposed to being the single most busted absurd card in the game to the point that it defines it, like I think they'd be more in line. Like City of the Open Hand, it's game warping. It's game warping.
So if it were like if you have less honor, your opponent loses an honor.
Yes, 100,000%.
Dead.
So much easier to deal with. It's insane. Because
I-
it helps deal with Scorpion's ridiculous card advantage, their inability to worry about their honor at all, ever. Like,
Well, I mean, if it were something like that and it didn't also get you the honor back, you wouldn't be able, there wouldn't Forged Edict wouldn't need to be on the restricted list because it'd be unplayable. Like if you didn't gain it, if Scorpion's Stronghold didn't have a way to gain you honor, like you wouldn't be able to
Forged Edict.
dishonor
Yeah.
people. Yeah, every single card that they have that's like dishonor a character to do something cool, you just wouldn't be able to play.
well,
It'd
they
be
would
the
have
same
to
thing with Crab
sacrifice. They'd be locked into the air ring.
We
Yeah.
pretty much die on turn 3 every game.
Yeah, it's the same position Crab's in. Like, there's so many cool cards that are like dishonor this guy or like pay 2 honor, and you can't play them because if you do, you're just gonna have no honor and then you're dead.
Right,
There
but
are
at
people who
least
are
like their
saying that,
thing would
like-
contribute to a win con still.
If we didn't die first,
Yeah, of course.
we'd be.
I would
we'd be
just I would
playing, like,
prefer that version of the and I know that's the obvious answer everybody chose, but like, dude, City the Open Hand's just so oppressive to the
Of course, you'd prefer
extreme.
it. Like, that sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it would suck, but like, I mean, I like Scorpion. It's just I'm also realistic about like I want the game to be healthy and not hemorrhage players because
I
of
do
one
too, but I
clan.
don't think changing City of the Open Hand at this point will help because, like, as we kind of just talked about, like, the whole game plan is couched around that Stronghold, and
Yeah,
we
I
don't
mean,
have anywhere to go.
So what you're saying is
We're
L5R
talking, like,
2.0
2
is
years
like
of
gonna be
design.
sick
Yes.
because
Um,
like if Scorpion is just
it's
gonna
more than
be
2 years. It has to be.
if Scorpion
At
is just gonna be a thorn in the devs and the player base's
No, I
side
meant-
forever, like I don't know how I feel about the game because
no,
even
I
I'm
mean,
at the point.
I mean,
where I'm
City
tired
of the
it.
Open Hand. We're like 2 years down the line of cards being designed around that being a stronghold. I don't think we're at the point where we can just change it or ban it and then not have it.
Yeah, I don't think we
Like,
should
not
ban
have
it.
a
I
bunch
just
of players hemorrhage
I just
out of the
wish
game.
they could errata it. I mean, here's the thing: like, how many players hemorrhage out of the game because Scorpion is pure negative play experience? And I say this, I relish in that fact. I play Scorpion purely because I don't like my opponents having fun, but I also realize that I'm not going to do that to casual players. And I realize that people are quitting the game even locally because Scorpion is just that oppressive and that anti-fun. Like,
Those
it's a
people,
problem.
I really think that you're in a place that, like, I don't know. This is hard for me to articulate, but like those people would quit over something else.
Of course,
Those people
and
are gonna find a
normally I
reason to
take
leave.
that stance. I've said in the past, like,
They don't. They don't wanna
typically
get
I'm just
better.
like, you nut up or shut up. You're either going to get better or you're not. And I definitely agree with that. And even to a long extent, like, you know me, dude, I was practically a Scorpion apologist up until very recently. But there does come a point, like, there's a line for me, and I feel like we've passed it with Scorpion, in my opinion.
So,
like, I think
Well, the
Scorpion's
Doomsday
well over the
scenario
line.
was Scorpion getting Seeker of Air to play all these Crane cards, and like, I don't think it's better than just playing Dragon cards.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
So
I don't
we
think
were
that the
saying
Doomsday
this, like-
scenario for me was Duty being printed.
we were saying this Crane Splash thing was going to
Yeah,
push
it
them
could
over
be
the edge to
scary as
being
fuck.
a negative play experience. That's what you said not
Yep.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I literally think that the Dragon Splash is still just better.
It probably is, yeah. For sure.
So
for sure.
Those people who are gonna whine and moan every time they see City of the Open Hand, they were gonna find a reason to quit anyway.
Oh, that is an important thing too. Just because we can acknowledge and talk about stuff like this, anybody watching this or whatever, like, don't take that as your excuse to be a dickhead to your Scorpion opponent, because that just makes you a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, there are plenty of people who purely pick Scorpion just for the power, and there are plenty of people who like Scorpion. So shut up, because I've heard from too many people. I heard from somebody, and I'm not going to name them, but like, they stopped playing Scorpion because they got tired of people treating them like shit every time they played. Like, people would discount their wins, and people would treat them like shit because they played Scorpion. And y'all got to stop being bitches. It's in the game. We got to deal with it as much as we can bitch about it, but don't bitch at your opponent for it.
There's multiple people in the New England scene where I've already openly said that if I get paired against them and I am mathematically out of winning any prizes, I will just concede because I don't want to play against them.
Yeah.
Because when they see me playing red cards, they whine and moan for an entire hour that we play.
Yeah, and it's one thing to acknowledge the game has faults. It's another thing entirely to take your frustrations out on other people. Because, like, motherfucker, they don't design these cards. Eric didn't design Scorpion.
I'm sorry, but if you're just better than me, it doesn't matter what color I'm playing. I'm gonna sit here and say that until the end of time.
That's fine.
This game is player skill based.
The game is player skill based, but I think to like almost utterly discount the power level of clans is disingenuous.
I'm not utterly.
Well, you're saying the better player will win, but like the better player, if they're playing a shitty clan, they instantly lower their chances of winning by playing a shitty clan.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to.
Well, that's the important thing to say. The idea is that you have to be so notably above somebody. Like, if I'm playing Lion, I have to be a notably better player than you if you're playing Scorpion. Or, whatever the case may be. I don't know how good the Scorpion-Lion matchup is, but you get what I mean.
There are, like, 5 clans that you can play. Where you can bring yourself even and then be better than me.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I'm just saying, like, there are certainly some cases in which, like...
I'm not saying there
to
aren't
varying degrees,
clans.
you do have to be a better player. There's some clans that require
shitty clans. But if you're playing clan number 2, 3, 4, or 5, you can't. I don't think you have a room to complain that I'm playing Scorpion. Just be better than me.
Yeah.
Well, there also comes into the play.
No.
So there comes into play this, and this is kind of like a fighting game thing that I've always held close. Is you have the option to pick that shit too, and people are always gonna be like, oh well, I've got clan loyalty. Well, then shut up, because you are making the decision not to. So as much as we bitch, like, I still play Scorpion casually because it's fun. I mean,
we're in a tournament setting. Sorry.
Yeah, you either want to win or you don't.
And I mean, as far as things that like are difficult to play against because they're really good, Scorpion definitely. I'm not even gonna say doesn't have that. A lot of what factors into my decision to bring Scorpion to every major tournament is that they are very good. I will say also a lot of it is because I really like Scorpion as an idea, but
if I feel most comfortable in.
Yeah, I feel really comfortable with that. It's like it's my play style, right? So like if they were terrible, I probably wouldn't bring them. But lots of clans have really belligerent crap. Like Guest of Honor is probably the least healthy card for the entire game, because unless you count Tadaka, who does the same thing effectively,
except like the entire turn.
yeah, except the entire turn. Like those two cards are more than complainable. And like Scorpion does have duty, that's fair. But aside from duty and like Hidden Moon Dojo, which aren't like cards that say you can't do anything, they just say I can do things better. Like I'm not even saying that there's a reason to complain about them, but certainly don't like belittle your opponent. That's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
But like every clan has nonsense, ridiculously overpowered cards. Well, okay, like 3 of the 4 of the 7 clans have them. But
I've got a 5 Fate blank 7 too. Is he good enough?
Is he blank because you can't remember the triggers, or is he blank because
he's blank because he's fucking trash?
A lot of times he can be pretty blank.
Yeah, no, that's true. But like
it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Yeah, that's just an in joke we have.
Yeah. Like, of course, sometimes you play him against Crane and they want to kill themselves, but like, generally you play him and they go, okay, that's
or
a 7/2.
Scorpion. I mean,
We have Box, but
And Cloud the Mind.
no, that's true. I did watch a table next to me at Worlds have a Scorpion player fate worse than Death of Tadaka. I mean a Quesada, and then they were like, "Cool, Quesada cancels it."
Oh, you better believe I'd make them commit to that in Worlds 2. Ooh, I would love it. Ooh, I'd feel great.
Basically, because of the playstyle that Scorpion has, if they were like 5th or better, I'd be playing Scorpion anyway.
Yep.
So, like, because that's just where I like to be. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Reactive
Like,
playstyles are
better?
just fun, dude.
Yeah. If they were in the middle of the pack or higher, I would be playing them. Like, I
Yeah.
basically only wouldn't play them if they were the 6th or 7th worst clan in the game.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
The long and short of all this is we can acknowledge the faults and the issues of the game and certain clans without belittling our opponents and being dicks to them.
But I've
I
had
just
that
want to
happen.
make that.
In locals, more
Yeah,
probably more than I can count on one hand.
yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
absurd
Like,
to me.
and
It's
I
never
think a
happened
lot
to
of
me in any game ever.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, and you know, for sure, actually, like, I think a lot of people don't realize how their own negativity can come off sometimes. So there's times where they're being negative or they're complaining, and it comes across a lot more pointed and aimed at their opponent than they might even realize. Because I don't think people go out intending to be assholes to their opponents. But I think it's important to be mindful of the energy you're putting out into the room. And I don't mean that on some hippie shit. I just mean be mindful of the emotions that you're displaying to other people and how they're going to interpret those. Because if you think you're looking like a dick, you probably are. So
Also, just like don't play in tournaments if you don't want to get good.
yeah, that too. Like, or play in tournaments if you just want to have fun, but don't
Yeah, but,
take
like,
your
then you
lack of
can't
fun
say
out on
anything.
people. Just don't
cannot
take
say
your lack
anything
of
if you
fun out
lose.
on people. That's all. Take your losses in
we're-
stride and learn.
We're spiraling here.
Yep, and so we did talk about at least all of the restricted cards once. So like we mentioned Miyamoto's Fury, we mentioned For Greater Glory, we mentioned Against the Waves, Forged Edict, Charge, Pathfinder's
I'd-
Blade Policy Debate.
As a red player, I would stab someone for Miyamoto Shuri to come off that list. So I hope it never does.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Like,
I feel
want it to so bad.
I feel entirely the same way. Also, I think that like it's very very plain that Charge needs to be on there, which
Yeah,
we didn't
it's great.
expressly
It's great.
like talk about. It's gray and
it
it says
cheats.
gain X money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just-
it just says gain 4 money
That has
if
to
you
be there.
target a 5-cost guy. Like,
Which
but,
is what you're gonna target.
I'm also a fan. I think of the Iron Mine switch just for the health of the game. I feel like switching Iron Mine and Reprieve, putting
Did we
Reprieve
talk
on the
enough
list
about-
would
Yeah.
be.
Reprieve
what
Brief
needs to
Splash
go
Roll
on?
just sucks.
Speaking of that,
Yeah, let's go
is there
through the
anything else that needs to go
clans.
on?
Like,
Guest
does,
of Honor to Daka.
Yeah,
yeah, Crane deserves, I think, to have Guest of Honor
Crane
finally
needs a
put on the
card on
restricted
there.
list.
you need to put a light blue card on
Yeah,
this list.
I mean, I don't even care. Like Voice of Honor, like friggin'
Voice
what,
of Honor,
Game
I
of
don't know.
Tsunade? I don't know.
Voice of Honor is locked
I mean,
a
Game
bit.
Can you really put Tadaka on it? Like,
Did
from
you
a-
really say Game
I
of
know-
Sadane, dude? I should hit you.
Yeah, that was an insane thing to say.
I just want them to have a card that they can't play. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
That
They don't play that card.
Yeah,
No,
they
I
already
know, but-
can't play it.
But no, that's fine. But I just want them to have. I just want them to know how it
Guest
feels. to
Guest
have
of
cards
Honor
they
for
can't
sure though deserves to be restricted.
So like from a Phoenix standpoint, like, can you put Tadaka on the list? Is that
Yes.
like too much?
I don't think so. No, I think
I
that's
don't
too
think
much.
it's too- Is it?
I would love to see Tadaka on the list, because then
Actually,
I just
yeah,
wouldn't have
'cause-
to play against him anymore.
Because then you just fuck them,
But-
right? Like if you get
Yeah,
rid of
it's just, like, not
Tadaka
cool.
and against
As
the
much
waves,
as
it just ruins the clan. You can't
As
orbital
much as
nuke
I'd
them.
love to never see Tadaka again for the rest of my life, like I feel like that just wouldn't be cool.
It's not fair to orbital nuke the clan. That is a good point.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I think
I don't know what they would play in tournaments
Oh,
anymore.
yeah.
I guess the
This
answer
is-
is a different clan.
This is shout outs to Ian. This is a hot take that I really do agree with. Seal of the Dragon.
nah, I don't agree with it as much now.
I really think.
Dragon is a lot less terrifying to me now that they're not Seeker Fire, but that's as a
Yeah,
crab
but
player.
It destroys this Frankenstein deck where they get to just jam all the good monk cards into their already good deck.
Yeah.
And I really think that needs to happen because it is just stupid that they clearly were trying to make 2 archetypes and then fucked up making Seal the Dragon,
If-
and now there's just one really good one.
If they take Pathfinder's Blade off restricted list, they need to hit multiple dragon cards at least for a period of time.
Can Seal the Dragon be one of them?
Yes, if I had to choose, I would say Seal of the Dragon and any of either Kitsuki Investigator, Togashi Mitsu, or Void Fists. But if they hit Seal of the Dragon, then you could
Then you can't
probably
hit
get
Void
rid
Fist.
of. Yeah, you could probably even keep Mitsu off. Like, I just feel like Kitsuki Investigator is just not okay. It's just not okay, dude.
Yeah.
That card's so unfun to play against. It's kind of unreal. And sometimes they just flop multiples, and you just lose because they pay 2
Yeah,
fate
you go,
each
like,
turn
turn
and
one-
destroy your hand.
Turn 1, play an Investigator with 4 fate. Turn 2, play an Investigator with 4 fate.
Like, they play a dude that thought seizes you every fucking turn with no restrictions.
Yep.
That's the one card. Like, there's a ton of over the curve stuff in Dragon, but I don't want to just like hatefully say that we should just restrict everything. So I think if
Yeah.
they put Seal the Dragon on, my choice would be Kitsuki Investigator.
Is there anything in Unicorn? No,
No.
right?
No.
Is
I
there-
mean, no, I don't think anything in Unicorn.
Unleash the Jin is oppressive, but it's like all they have. You can't
It's,
just. Like,
it's well
fuck 'em.
costed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
I mean,
it's got a real
I feel
cost.
I feel like at the very least, it doesn't really matter what happens. Unicorn gets a pass for at least another 6 months.
Yeah, for sure they
What
deserve
other
it.
clans are there? We're not going to touch Lion.
Yeah, I mean, Lion has stuff that could, in some universe, in the far future, get restricted, but not right now. It doesn't deserve to be hurt.
That actually, I think that covers everything. I think we've
Yeah,
talked
that is
about
it.
every clan.
I mean, we're probably
I will
forgetting a
just
clan
say
that nobody
Dragon,
likes.
though.
I don't
No,
think we are.
Grab,
I mean-
grab Crane
Oh,
Dragon
I mean,
Lion,
yeah,
too.
hit duty. That's all, right?
Well, duty should just be banned.
Yeah,
But it
duty
won't
should
be
not
restricted or
exist.
banned.
Well, I mean, if
I'll
if
put
they
money on
restri-
that, it won't be touched.
if they restrict it, like, it's okay because I'd rather run Forge Edict than duty any day of any week.
Me too. Absolutely.
But I definitely
yeah,
agree it
I've-
shouldn't exist.
I have seen more people kill themselves with duty than I have seen people win. Or
As much
stop
as it's
a-
obnoxious, there is like a skill ceiling to duty that is difficult to reach. Because you
It's
actually, it's weird to say, and I hate admitting this because it is clearly busted and not okay, but you still do have to think about how you use it. That's really weird.
You do entirely. Like, it is very, very easy to just lose a game when you could have not lost the game instead because you decided to use.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've definitely won way more games than I've accidentally killed myself. Just want to
Yeah,
put that out.
for
there.
sure. Like, it's not like it's like some insane Megamind shit to play duty right. It's just that
The first
like
week-
you do got to play a little bit of chess there. It's just broken.
Yeah, like
though.
the first week it came out, it took me a little bit to wrap my brain around it. I did kill myself
Yeah.
twice with it, but since
But-
that initial hiccup, like, it's
yeah,
pure
the
fucking gas.
the idea too is like as people get better, the card is just broken. I mean, it's already broken, but like once you stop having players making play mistakes with it, then it just is oppressive beyond belief.
Testing for packs a couple days ago on Jigoku. Wish I recorded the game, but I didn't. Turn 1, Assassinate brings me to 7 honor. After, like, I bid 6 to their 5 with a Manipulator, then Assassinate, which gets me to 7 on the dot. Turn 2, play an Ignoble Enforcers to go to 4, and then they 1-bid me on turn 2, and I play Duty. Like, the game's, like, over.
Yeah, they just lose. Hello?
I assume also City of the Open Hand was how you got to 7 instead of 6. But
Exactly. Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
Yeah,
I
okay.
bid 6, and then that brings me to 9. Assassinate brings me to 6. City of the Open Hand back to 7. Then turn 2, Ignoble Enforcers brings me to exactly 4. Bid
Yep.
5 to their 1. Duty brings me to 5. Box them to 6.
And the thing is, too, as weird as it is to say, them bidding 1 on turn 2, knowing that duty exists, is still correct. Because they have to
Yeah.
force you to have it. Because
I've
otherwise
only
you
drawn
lose.
9 cards.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they have to force you to have it, and statistically, they were making the right
He did
choice.
nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong and
And
got
immediately
blown
lost the
fuck
game.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made literally the correct play and lost.
The game 100. The card
I mean-
100% should be banned, and it never will be. I guarantee it.
I
It's
don't think the
frustrating.
correct play there is bid 1. I think the correct play there is have cards so that you don't lose.
Well, the
Regardless of what
correct
happens.
play is to force your Scorpion opponent to respect the 1 bid. And duty
I never
stops
have
that.
to. Yeah.
Right? Because, like, him slamming one there, even knowing that duty is a thing, means that like that Scorpion player has to bid 4 or less, and if that Scorpion player bids 4, he's still in tough shit. I don't know. It's just my opinion, but regardless, like duty's stupid. I mean, that's really the end of it.
It really gets truly oppressive when it gets to both players are at low honor scenarios.
Oh yeah, and they can't
because
actually challenge
that's
your bid.
Really right. That's really where it becomes oppressive.
They can't even try to call your bluff with a 2 bid because they
Right.
just lose.
You have to read your Scorpion opponent and know when he has duty and match his 5, and you're taking the risk where if he is just representing it and doesn't actually have it, you just die on the spot.
Yep. And then let's not even go into the 1-2 punch of duty I can swim being like actually basically just a
Yeah.
combo. It just happens every time, like 100% of the time.
Every time I've played it, my opponent
Yeah.
has scooped.
Every time I've used duty, it's been with an I can swim on the same turn. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Same exact turn
And-
every single time.
My opponent has, I think, probably 80% of the time just instantly concedes.
Yeah, because I mean, it not only is it that it feels that bad that you may as well concede, but realistically, you should probably just concede at that point. You probably just lost. But yeah, I mean, what else is there to talk about? We're running a little over time, so I think we're
Yeah, I
kinda
think
winding
I think
down
we're
and
like
ranting.
good to go, right?
Yeah, we're good to go into games if that's what
We're
you
gonna
want.
we're gonna run some games.
Yeah, so this was the 8th episode of the New England L5R podcast, the NEL5R cast. I am Luis. With me, as always, Eric.
Thanks for hanging out on Thanksgiving if you came in.
Hey, and Brandon.
I'm thankful for Legend of the Five Rings.
So
Are
am
you? Are you?
Yeah, this game's great.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. I agree.
This game sucks.